Hello everybody. Give me just a second here. Let's see how this goes. I'm trying to turn the audio much higher. So because I've been told that YouTube for my last one kind of turned the volume down, so I'm trying to have the volume a little bit higher than should be, so we wouldn't have so many problems with people having to adjust their volume. Okay, so I think that this should be kinda, let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's see how we are going to do to connect the findings so we can do the earrings on the ear wire. And I did prepare two different ones. One to show you how to do a backing and the front, and we will use this one for next time when it will be a joint broadcast with Anna from Celebrate Creations, and this one will be just a much simpler thing. And these two are kind of even, they are not the same thing, and I just use them so I can have both of them. So first, now this one where I'm going to show you how to do the front and the back has a thickness of 7 on a make-ins, so pretty much like the third one from the thinnest. Hi Matt Nuts, hi Sharon, hi Ilyanka, hi Karen. So for this one, I don't want to go too wide. Oh, okay, I don't want to make it way too thick. So I'm going to select four, and what I made them with is just some scrap clay with some black and a pinch of silver to give it a little bit of a pearlescence in it, and this would work perfectly as a background for silver wax. Remember, I do have a tutorial where I show you how to mix various colors into mud clay, into scrap clay, so that you can get the perfect background for imitating various metals, so that you don't have to worry about the patina, about having to do the patina on it. You can only focus on the metallic shiny part of it. So I'm going to get me a piece that's a little bit wider, and I'm going to get it through the machine on a 6, so that would be the 4th from the thinnest, right? Now for this, your best bet is to use one of the, if you have, okay, if you have, is to use one of the texturing sponges, the Yokley ones. I know that they are very hard to find them right now. I know that Donna Cato doesn't have them anymore on Prairie Craft, but you can still find them here and there. So one thing that you can do, and you can find this at PolyClay Play, and also I've put some in my Amazon influencer store, but they are more expensive than the PolyClay Play ones. It's my my raspberry beads, and it imitates small jewelry hammering. So all you have to do is to just, and you can do this before applying the clay to the earring or after, it doesn't really matter. The thing is that it will look exactly like hammer strokes, jewelry hammer strokes on metal. So it's entirely up to you. So remember, they are raspberry beads if you want to find them. So I'm going to apply some Bake and Bond on the back of my earring. And yeah, it's very soft and very pliable at this point because I got it quite thin and I don't want to straighten it. Alrighty, wipe my finger and grab my eyeglasses. I don't need all of this. So this is the one that I'm preparing for the joint live with Anna. We are still need to iron out a few kinks here and there on being able to do a live. Alrighty, and as I said, you can use the raspberry bead even after you have applied it, and it will actually help the clay get better stuck to the baked clay. Hi Jordan. Okay, so I'm going to grab the raspberry bead again. And just go with it all over the place. And now very nicely and very gently, I am going to shave the excess. If you hear any kind of meowing, I left the craft room door open this time because Finnegan was throwing tantrums that he doesn't get enough attention. So if you hear any meowing at any moment, it's him letting the world know how unloved he is and how nobody cares about his well-being. He got a thing now lately. In the morning, normally Finnegan doesn't like to be kissed. The only place he likes to be kissed is top of his head, and he really rebels in that. But lately he started having a fixation, and if what he wants doesn't happen, he throws tantrums. And that is, I have to hold him and kiss the top of his head in front of the mirror so he can admire how gorgeous he is. If I do that not in front of the mirror, he is getting all upset. Hi Karen, hi Colleen. Glad you could make it. Alright, so we are here. Now, at this point, I'm going to need something a little bit thicker. And what I'm going to do in order to allow Anna to insert some seed beads. I'm going to grab this again, and it is on the thickest setting, and I'm going to leave it on the thickest setting and just grab some texture. It doesn't really matter what texture you want. Okay, so I have this already, and this time this time I actually need texture. And as I said, you can use whatever texture you want, and I'm not going to even be too fussy about it. I'm going to use, do you want me to use a sponge, or do you want me to use one of the cheapo makings textures? Let's see. I have the silk screens. I need to grab textures. A lot of people just diss on these makings textures because they are just so cheap, and they are just so, I can honestly tell you that I love them a lot. Of course, I do have my preferred ones. Okay, I have a sponge. Anybody else wants to chip in with an idea if you want sponge or if you want texture? So as I was saying, I do have my preferred ones when I'm doing stuff. But you can use whatever is fun to you. Okay, I don't have anybody else chipping in. I'm gonna use the sponge, and I'm going to use the thickest one, the largest texture of all. And yeah, you can go several times over it. Alright, and it's going to look, again, it's going to look like metal. Okay. Then I'm going to cut approximately that width that is on the earring. And once again, sorry Sharon, by the time your comment came up, remember that there's I think like a 12 seconds or more, 16 seconds delay between what you type and when you type and when I see it. The same goes for what I say. I always set my lives with the delay, because that helps people who don't have a high-speed internet. They don't have to wait for the boostering thing, you know, when it stops and then it has to think while it downloads more of the video. Alright, now before I do anything else, I'm going to prepare myself 2 jump rings. And I said this before. I saw a video by Tiny Pandora where she shows that she sets her jewelry findings by color. like she has one of these organizers all with silverish, and another one of these organizers all with bronzish, and so on and so forth. Um, so that for her it's easier to find what she's looking for. For me, I have them organized by type. So I would have all colors of jump rings in one organizer. I would have all colors and all styles of ear wires in another. So it's entirely up to you how you want to organize your findings. So I'm going to grab not a very shiny, but a silverish jump ring that's not super shiny but still is silver. Oh, come on. And this is to go with regular ear wires. If you do not have regular ear wires, I'll make later another tutorial to show you how to deal with like clip-ons or the post and backing. But for now we are going to go with the regular ear wires, and it is quite simple. Theoretically, what I want here is to get this here, and then this to kind of go. You might have to turn this a little bit higher, because I'm going to put one jump ring here and then another jump ring here, so that you might have to actually get it a little bit more like this, so that the back end of the wire would go through the jump ring in the back, right? Kind of like here. So I'm going to first, and you can do it backwards if you want, or you can do it thicker, but this is what I suggest to do. This is what I found better working for the purpose I'm doing it. Hi Darla. No, I think that this is still too thick. This is too thick. Okay, let's try a 3. It works much better. Thing again. I don't know all of it. So I'm going to place the jump ring with the closing in here, right? And try to make sure that it is in the very middle of it. So better to start with the jump ring here on the clay. And try to get it about half in. Okay. Don't worry about fingerprints at this point, because you can come with the texture again on it. And you will come again with the texture over it. Don't connect it perfectly yet at the end. And let's grab this other one. go. All right. Now I can trim the extra. Some more alcohol on my hands because it's getting, my fingers are starting to get a little sticky. Always happens. All right. Now, as I said, you can grab the texture. If you use the sponge, you can go again over it. Now remember, I told you to be very honest. Whenever I do stuff like this that's got a backing in the front, I do 3 bakings. I first bake the middle, then I put the backing on or the front on. I do whatever I have to do. I bake it again. So usually it's just a pre-bake of about 15 minutes. And then when I put everything together, I bake for half an hour when it's thickness like this, because it's not very thick. Okay. I'm very gently shaping this. You need to make sure that you don't have too much clay in the middle here, because otherwise you won't be able to insert the ear wire loop. And give it a round of nice. And don't worry much about it, because remember, we are talking here metal, right? So and it doesn't matter that excuse me, that this got a little bit open, because when you bake it, you're going to push it back together and it's going to be just fine. Okay, so there we go. All right, now my next thing, as I said, this will have to have a groove to allow seed beads to go in. All right, so I'm going to make it just a touch here to where I'm going to cut, and then another touch here to where I'm going to cut. Let me grab this. Then grab my Of course, you don't have to use the blade, you can use the a ruler or whatever. A little bit too much in on this side, but that's fine. And then another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to make some grooves for the bead line. This is not going to work. It's too thick. So I think there's room here for maybe 4 of them. So I'm going to make 2 grooves. To allow the jewelry thread, line, whatever, to come through. There we go. Alright, so this should be pretty much it. Now, to give you an idea of how it's going to look, actually I'm going to do this last for both of them. Okay, let's grab the next one. And let me get it through the machine. And this one I'm going to do texture on. Now, the thing that you have by not applying any kind of backing, just a second. Will be that you get all this shiny from the cutter. Right, so the inside area is going to be super shiny, and you can leave it like this because it's going to look just fine when you apply the wax. But just in case you have areas where it's shiny and areas where it's not shiny, you can just grab a piece of sandpaper and do the 400 and just do a few wipes, and that's going to still look like metal. All right, now let me do a texture. Which texture should I be? Let's see. Finnegan, what you doing? What you doing? My precious. Let's get this wood grain texture. Hello. You little shit. When he's got the zoomies, you cannot get him to. He doesn't want anything to have with anybody. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that I put it so that the outie will be. So I put it in the innie part. And remember, the making textures, you can get them through the pasta machine without a problem to get a very good. There we go. Oh, very nice pattern. Of course, bake and bond. This time on the top. And rub it in. One thing, one tip that I can give you, whenever you have faux metal, it is a very good idea to, even if you don't sand, to buff the area before applying the wax, okay? So, you know, unless you already applied some wax. So let me see, I'm going to choose this part. And again, I'm going to need 2 jump rings. So once again, place the jump ring with the opening inside. Oops. On the clay. Please don't start. I know. He is wailing in the hall. Okay, so grab this one again with the opening inside. Oops. Sticky fingers. Stay there. Now what I'm going to do is to grab my roller, and you know, when I have to do stuff on smaller areas, I prefer to get a smaller roller, and I use these oh, how are these called? I'm having a brain fart. Not square pairs. They are from Tiny Pandora. They are just to make grooves when you make canes, to make insertions of various things. I'll have to look it up. So I'm going to get this a little bit beveled. Shh, you're fine. Everybody loves you. I promise you. Everybody loves you. Yes. You have issues? You have tiny issues? Alrighty. Now, let's once again trim what's extra. On this side too. See here, it's not very well. Because you don't want that joint thing. I mean, you can let it show, because sometimes jewelry is made out of stacked sheets. But if you don't want it to look like it's made out of stacked sheets, and do it like this. I honestly would recommend to apply the wax only after it's baked. I will apply it before just for you to be able to see. Hi, Mizzy. Oh, she did. I kept seeing on Twitter, and people were nobody announced. And let me check on BBC. Yes, the palace announced. Well, may she rest in peace. She was a wonderful woman with a wonderful life. I've been watching the news since morning when I saw that she was under medical supervision at Balmoral. Okay, and if you want, you can go ahead and do a little bit more continuation, just if you want, to make sure that you have a more seamless thing here going here. There we go. Now let's take this side. It's just a little finishing touches, you know, to make things look better. But again, what I was saying is that you want to apply the wax only after you have sanded a little bit, and the way that I suggest you sand is just put the sandpaper down if you don't have the sanding wand. But even if you do, I usually don't even bother with a wand. I just go like this to make sure that everything is nice and even. Now, the last thing you want to do on this is put a little bit of alcohol. I need more alcohol in my bottle. And then just smooth it out, because alcohol kind of dissolves a little bit the polymer clay. And you know how when you put alcohol inks on clay, sometimes the clay becomes very dry. That's because the alcohol kind of dissolves it and dilutes the plasticizer inside it. Alright, now, as I said, I was going to show, even if, again, I don't recommend you do this before you bake, I recommend you do this after you bake. So let's see how this would look like. First, the one that we are going to put some seed beads on. So this is how the back looked like. But of course, I would do a more careful waxing after. It's better after you bake it. So let's do the front. Here's the look of old silver. This is the name of the wax itself. And I would put some even in this groove after it's baked, just to give it more good looks, if you want. And of course we need to put some on the sides. This is going to look like stacked sheets. As you can see, I did not do anything to the side of the earring, so it's going to look like stacked sheets of silver. And if you don't want this to look remember, just use some alcohol. Do not use the alcohol that is in pharmacies. That is not strong enough. Actually, me and Anna were thinking about turquoise beads, seed beads. So this would be one. Let me do the second one. And remember, I was telling you that even if you do not, if this is shiny, once you start adding the metal, it will just look like shiny metal. So you don't have to worry about it. Because generally speaking, on jewelry, silver jewelry and stuff, you will not have textures on the back because most of it is done by sand pouring. But you might have hammer strokes, or it might be just, you know, all nice and shiny. Like, see, and once it's going to get buffed, it's going to look awesome. So let's go on this. As I said, once it's baked, do the sides first with a little bit of sandpaper. It's going to look much better than what I'm doing now. And then you'll have your pretty and you can see how this wood grain cheapo makings texture makes it almost look like Celtic stuff. And do the side on this one too. There we go. So I'm going to refocus as I usually do to show you close-ups of this. So give me just a second. Okay, there we go. And you know how once it is buffed, it's all nice and shiny. I'm going to have to redo this and make it properly cut and everything. I was just showing you how to do it. You know how sometimes it's harder when I have to focus on the let's see the back. It's got the hammer strikes on the camera. And the other one, I know. Can you hear him? And the back, that looks pretty much like metal as well. So this is it, and then once you're done, all you have to do is to just attach the ear wire to this, and after you put it in, you'll have to just get it under, but you'll have to kind of make the ear wire a little bit more like this and more like this, so that it can go. But don't change the ear wire until after you have baked the earring and you're supposed to put it in. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to no, I posted this for 12:30 because I looked, and actually I think that if I'll ever have to reschedule Saturday one, Sunday one, I'm going to reschedule it for Thursday noonish, because I looked in the analytics on my channel, and that is, except for Saturday and Sunday, that is the time that most of my audience is watching YouTube. So wish me luck. I'm gonna try and catch him. Come here. There he is, the fluff. The fluff. Yes. Let's people see you. Let people see you. The fluff. Yes. I know. I know. I know. I know. He's your precious. He's your precious. I know you're upset. My precious baby. Okay? Okay. Alrighty. So there we are. I will be posting tomorrow when what we are going to have for Sunday. Yes, I will pet you here in a minute. Now he's wailing for attention. Thank you for being here with me, and I hope you will do this so we can you have stuff ready for the next joint broadcast with Anna. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful end of the week. Bye.